Hello and welcome to this latest video in the series of economics versus the environment. We're going to look at a conflict today around the scramble for resources and maybe war. This is part one. So part of the name of this video is a scramble for resources. What is a scramble? A scramble is like when you're at a Christmas party and somebody throws a lot of candies in the air. You all rush around and try to get one, and you don't worry about other people. You push each other out of the way, and only focus is on getting the candy. You just want to get as many as you can for yourself. No one cares about the environment anymore. Not everyone can survive the environmental disaster. People just want to make sure that they survive. So here's a quote. From competition among hunter-gatherers for wild game to colonial wars over precious minerals, resource wars have always been fought throughout history. Hunter-gatherers were when people lived in small family groups, or maybe a few families together. They didn't farm, they just hunted animals and collected food from the jungle. Precious metals or precious minerals are things like oil and diamonds and rubies. This is continuing the quote. Today, however, the competition appears set to enter a new and perhaps unprecedented phase. As natural resources deplete and as the Earth's climate becomes less stable, the world's nations will likely compete ever more desperately for access to fossil fuels, minerals, agricultural land, and water. Just a few vocab things here. Unprecedented means never seen before. Deplete means to get down to very low levels left. Desperately means more and more scared about what will happen next and willing to do anything to stop it. So this is continuing the quote. Nations need increasing amounts of energy and raw materials to produce economic growth. But the costs of supplying more energy and materials are increasing. In many cases, lower quality resources with high extraction costs are all that remain. Securing access to these resources often requires military expenditures as well. Meanwhile, the struggle for the control of resources is realigning political power balances throughout the world. End of quote. So a few vocab things there. Extraction cost is the cost of getting things out of the ground. Realign means to change from an old pattern to a new one. And throughout means in all parts of. And that's a quote from The Geopolitical Implications of Peak Everything by Richard Heinberg. So with global warming, areas of the Arctic near the North Pole are becoming ice-free and easier to explore for oil. Another quote from the same place. With the melting of Arctic ice, new mineral and energy resources in the far north of the planet will become accessible, as will new trade routes. This may lead to a rush of economic and military exploitation and open up a new area for international conflict. Which raises the question, can such consequences be prevented and how? And the answer may hinge on whether and in what ways humanity chooses to compete or cooperate in response. Clearly, the writer thinks there will be energy wars to gain access to the remaining oil. Many people believe the USA war and occupation of Iraq was and still is a war to make sure the USA has access to Iraqi oil in future. Iraq is the fourth biggest oil producing country. An increase in the number of wars is the biggest thing that can bring the date the world runs out of oil nearer. Wars are very heavy energy users and huge polluters. They are likely to be in or near oil producing countries. So oil installations will probably be damaged, bringing the date even nearer. There are also likely to be what are called proxy wars. Proxy wars are where the countries who are fighting each other are supported by opposite strong countries. So this is a made-up example. Malaysia is fighting Brunei, which it surrounds, for control of Brunei's oil fields. China could support one side and the USA could support the other side. In both cases, the understanding would be that the supporting strong country would get access to the oil if their side won. They would supply money, weapons, and technology to the side they supported, but they would not send soldiers. Wars like this are unlikely to be neat and clean with a start date, a winner, and an end date. They could be high-tech versus low-tech wars because poorer countries will be involved. Like in Afghanistan, there is no rule that says high-tech will win quickly and easily. And this is the end, my friend. See you next time.